What is up, guys? It's Jake from Team Insanity, and of course it's about time. I know, we're sorry. As I said in the 20K video, we kind of delayed it just a little bit for the 20K subs, so thank you for getting us to that number. It's a very good experience. Thank you for all that. So for that, we're going to do the Dangerous Power G5 giveaway now, and there goes the manual that I'm going to talk about. So we've had this G5 for a little bit. We've done some testing to it. The efficiency test is going to be at the very last part of the video. The reason why is that it rained that day and I didn't have a change of clothes, so I just kind of took my shirt off and it was like really all muddy. I took it off, and you'll see it in one of the videos eventually. I shoved it in my speed feed and it just got all dirty and muddy and it looked terrible. So I just filmed it without a shirt on and I look like a complete tool. So that's just going to be at the end. I mean, not a lot of people really watch anyway, so if you actually want to watch it and see how it performs with brittle paint, definitely go and watch that. And the giveaway details will be before then. But here's what you're going to get with the G5 packaging. First off, you're going to get a nice full color owner's manual, which is really nice. I really do enjoy the fact that you get a full colored manual. It gives you step-by-step everything in here. Let me just go through. I mean, it tells you programming the board. You get in the box as well that you're not going to see. Toolkit, Allen key set. I think you get lube and a barrel sock or whatever. I kind of lost the barrel sock. Yeah, it walks you through everything that you need to know, within changing the battery to cleaning your eye covers. It's going to basically tell you everything that you will possibly need to know. And then it also gives you the full breakdown of the gun that you probably can't see on camera. It's a nice manual. And then you get this very POS box, this cardboard box, but I mean, hey, it comes in a $300 gun, so you can't really complain. Yes, I can, but anyways. You get this packaging, this foam packaging stuff. You're gonna see this parts kit right here. It's a decent sized part kit. So whoever wins the giveaway, you're gonna get that. If I can find the barrel cover or something, I'll give you the barrel cover. But that's about it that you're gonna get in this bad boy. And this is just a lone Allen key that I have for the reg. So we're gonna just throw that one off to the side. You'll need that for the maintenance. You'll see that in the maintenance video, if I remember. I'll see if I'm going to take apart the reg. I'm not 100% sure if I do. So we just going to put the box off to the side, and we are going to bring up the beast here, the Dangerous Power G5. Now, a lot of you may or may not know, if you're a new player and you're just looking to educate yourself on Dangerous Power and all that stuff, basically Dangerous Power sucks. That's what a lot of people think, and they really did. Back when the Dangerous Power FX came out and the Dangerous Power G4, I owned a G4 personally. Mine worked great for me. Sure, it had some leaks and problems, but DJ showed me how to fix them. But anyways, you know, they had their issues, and I can definitely see them trying to fix their issues, and they're definitely going the right way. The thing is with Dangerous Power is that they make good products, but they just, at the time, they did not have good quality control. A lot of people are buying the G5s and the new FX Elites or whatever. They're not really having that out-of-box leaking issue anymore. They fixed it. They've really taken their customer service and everything a step up to fix all of their products for their customers, which I think is really awesome. A lot of stores, a lot of paintball stores and all that, they really pulled their dealership away from Dangerous Power because they had to fix too many guns. They were selling broken guns and it made them look bad. So a lot of people just stopped selling Dangerous Power guns, and their company really took a hit. But I can definitely see them trying to fix that and trying to change that with all of their new guns, especially the G5. And I'm very happy that they fixed the G-Series gun, this gun, because this is basically their biggest selling gun. I mean, when you think of Dangerous Power, you think of the G5. You don't really think of their $800 Revy. You don't really think of their Dangerous Power Elite or anything like that. I mean, I guess maybe you do, but you probably really don't. You kind of think of the G5 or the G4, those G-Series guns. That's really what you think about. So I'm really happy that they went through and they helped fix the problems that was on the G4, that they really went through and fixed. And thank you, Dangerous Power, for doing that. No, I'm not saying it's perfect and that it's 100% fixed, but it sure is a hell of a lot better than what it used to be. My G4, the reason why I really liked it is that it made me turn into a gun tech. It really did. It taught me how to change O-rings. The first person to ever teach me how to change O-rings was Rob. Actually, I was in the box, and I just kept on having leaking issues, and Rob kept on having to fix my gun. Rob and DJ, they kept on having to fix my gun. And it's like, why don't you just show me how to just change the O-rings? So he was just showing me, he gave me tips on how to change O-rings and stuff. So now, in how to maintenance my gun, he kind of gave me the breakdown on how to maintenance guns and all that stuff. So it did make me a way better of, you know, cleaning my guns and keeping them up and all that stuff compared to, you know, what it used to be before. So that's sort of how the G4 kind of shaped me in terms of, you know, teching guns. I kind of really got into it after when I started getting into the reflex rails, and especially now with the VCOM, I like tuning guns and looking at stuff, and I really just like messing around with guns and with my DM that I had, and it just made me want to tinker with things more. It made me want that a little bit more. So that I didn't necessarily hate that about the G4, that it had problems. It kind of made me a little bit better in terms of fixing guns. So this gun, first off, has a 13.5-inch barrel or something like that. It's 14-inch. Autococker threaded, so if you're looking to upgrade a different barrel, go ahead. It's a decent stock barrel, you can't really complain. It has a decent regulator on it. It has a good feed neck. The ASA, and one of the other things that I noticed that they fixed is underneath, if you guys had an old Dangerous Power FX, or you had a Revy or a G4, G3, anything like that, the wraps on off ASA, this is a great ASA, it really is. A lot of people buy them for their autocockers or that kind of stuff because it's a very nice ASA, but the problem is that the anodizing, this flips, and when it's under air pressure, it flies back and it hits, it's just metal on metal right there. So you would see the anodizing just start chipping and tearing away. It was just bad. You know, you could definitely see lines on your ASA from it not looking ag or sexy anymore because of you just keep on turning it off. They just keep on snacking that. So Dangerous Power even took it a little bit further. They put a little rubberized DP logo right there. So now when you turn your ASA off, you're not going to have damaged anodizing or anything like that anymore. So they even fixed that small little thing that I noticed on my gun. That's pretty cool to me. I think that's really nice. The bolt is very, very simple, especially if you're a new player. Now, when you look at some of the other guns, such as my DM or the VCOM or the Luxes, the NTs, Geos, they kind of have like 3-4 parts to them. Sometimes they have springs, and they look very sort of complicated once you start taking apart. Not the Dangerous Power series. That's another really nice thing that I like about the Dangerous Power G series, is that there's not a lot of very hard parts that you have to do to get in there and take it apart. It's just, you know, a tiny little bolt guide, and then the front head of the bolt, the front tip of the bolt. That's all there really is. It's just a dump valve design, very simple. You don't have 5,000 inner O-rings like you do on a DM or a Lux or anything like that. You don't have a bolt guide, an inner cam, and all. I mean, you don't have all of that, all of like 5 different pieces that you have to take off, lube inner O-rings and that kind of stuff. It still has the O-ringless bolt design, sort of, which I wish they would stray away from, because if, you know, O-rings on the front, really, I'll go into it more on the maintenance video, sort of. The O-rings are lined up, they're not on the bolt, they're actually milled into the body, sort of. So it kind of makes it harder for if you need to change an O-ring, then you kind of have to get an O-ring pick, and then you have to try to carefully pick it out and then line it up and put it in. It really is a pain in the ass. I wish they would get rid of that design, how all the O-rings aren't all lined up along on the bolt. That's just kind of me. I know that I just wish that they would stray away from that a little bit, because it makes things a little bit more complicated, and it's not that huge of a selling feature. I mean, yeah, and it also will reduce bolt stick a little bit too as well. So that's just my opinion on the O-ringless bolt. I just think it kind of makes it a little bit more complicated, along with all the other G guns that they had. I think the G3 was also an O-ringless bolt. I can't really remember. My G4 was O-ringless, but I mean, it's kind of cool, but again, it's kind of a pain in the ass at the same time. So that one's up to you. Me personally, I didn't really like it. Now, the trigger, again, Dangerous Power does really great things with their trigger. It really is a great trigger. can't really complain. I loved my G4 trigger, especially compared to the competitor, the Invert Mini. At the time, the Mini trigger's garbage. It really is. It's a terrible trigger. This is a very nice, snappy trigger. Feels great. You can get used to this. You can walk it, as some of you guys have seen me doing. There is some videos of me walking it, that kind of stuff. And now the back grip frame, since it is an air through, you know, gas through body, a gas through grip, it is definitely a little bit thicker than the G4. It really is. It's a lot thicker, and it's noticeably thicker. It's sort of like, I wouldn't say as bad as an E-Tech 4, but I wouldn't say that it's as nice as a Lux, or, I mean, you know, I'm comparing it to a $1,500 gun. But I definitely have to say the Mini GS, definitely, the Mini and the Mini GS definitely have a thinner grip frame up front, back here. It definitely does have a thinner grip frame. I mean, you get used to it, but still, it is a thicker of a grip frame. I got used to it, but it does feel a little bit like a block. So if you're used to thinner grip frames, that kind of stuff, you're definitely going to notice a little bit of a difference. Or if you have baby hands like me, you definitely will feel a little bit of a difference. But again, the trigger, awesome trigger, great clamping feed neck. Out of the box, you're getting a pretty solid gun. Now, I have noticed in the sun, compared to my G4, that this light, the LED light that flashes to tell you, you know, if the eyes are off, all that kind of stuff, it is a little bit dim. And now, basically, if you want to go into if you want to program your board, I love this about Dangerous Power. You hold your trigger, and then you turn it on, and then you'll see where it goes red, green, yellow, and then flashing red. Don't even get into those, but look in the manual and it'll tell you which color is which. So if you want, I think red is rate of fire. I can't really remember. Let me see. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, red is rate of fire. So say you want to change your rate of fire to 35 balls a second or whatever. Then you change, you go and you hit the button when it's on red and it starts flashing. You hit it again and you start pulling the trigger for as many times as you want the BPS to be set. Same with the settings. Same with the green would be like your ramping, your semi-auto, all that stuff. Then you'll hit the button and you know, in your manual it says which number, how many trigger pulls you want for each. So if it's like PSP ramp, I think is 3. Double check in your manual, I can't really remember. Then you pull the trigger 3 times, you hit the power button and it programs and it flashes back to you. It's very simple, very straightforward board, just the same exact thing as that's in the Dangerous Power G4. So basically that's all I really have to talk about for right now on specs. You know, it is a little bit tighter of a gun. Like I said, the ergonomics is kind of to me. It definitely is a little bit tighter. I definitely can get there and play tight inside of my bunker and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a nice overall shooting gun. But what I'm going to do is next we're going to go into the maintenance part. I'm going to take it apart, show you how to lube it, all that fun stuff that you're going to need to know about it. If you don't really care, skip to the conclusion. Alright, so we have the Dangerous Power G5 maintenance now. So I'll just actually remove the barrel. It's easier to work with. So I'll take off the barrel right now. Clean out your barrel. Run it under some hot water. Get a squeegee. Run it through there. Take care of your shit. Come over here. And what you're going to want to do is that you can actually probably use your hands if you don't use tools to tighten it down. And I can't remember if I used tools or not to tighten it down last time. Okay, as you see, put this to the side. Now, basic dump valve design right here. You go, you pull the trigger, opens up, all the air dumps in there, rushes in, closes off. That's how it shoots right here. So it's pretty basic. You pull the trigger, opens up, all the air rushes through those little holes right here, dumps all the air through, shoots the ball, and it closes. So it's not as efficient as, say, like a poppet or, you know, an inline poppet, that kind of stuff, because it's a dump valve design. But that's also what makes these guns so fast, is that this is the bolt. This is it right here. There's no screwing. There's no internal 5 billion O-rings all over this. There's nothing here. Okay, so that's why it's so quick and it's so easy. It's just I mean, what could possibly go wrong? I mean, that's why these guns are so fast, is that they're just so, it's a basic bitch, basically. I mean, there's nothing nothing holding it back from being fast. It's a very, very light bolt. It's not like it's a heavy Tippmann bolt. It's very nice. As always, just take this, wipe it down. Now, in terms of teching, I don't like these stupid O-ringless bolt designs because all the internal O-rings are inside of here. All of them are. I think there's 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, same as my G4. And so why is that if those O-rings wear down, which eventually they will, and you have to replace them, is that try getting an O-ring off of that in terms of, I'm going to take the E-Tech 5. Try getting an O-ring off of that instead of getting one of those O-rings off of that. I mean, it's a lot more difficult to reach it. It's not like you can take your fingers in there and just pull it out. I mean, I actually might be able to if I have long nails. I might be able to pull it out. But normally you need an O-ring pick or something. It takes some type of knowledge of using picks and getting those O-rings out. It took DJ some time to get used to actually getting the O-rings out of here. But he did it for me on my Dangerous Power G4. Was it a pain? Hell yes, it was a pain in the ass. I mean, it really is. So in terms of maintenance, it's really easy to maintenance this, but I would rather have them put O-rings on the bolt. And it's a lot easier to maintain. Now, it's a really cool selling point. Hey, look, our bolt has no O-rings, guys. But I mean, if something happens at the field during a tournament, it's gonna be more of a pain in the ass to switch an O-ring in this than to switch an O-ring and say in this, where the O-rings are all right there. You don't need an O-ring pick to take off those O-rings. So, and once you do, I did it off camera. You just take, I use a paper towel, and what I actually do is I reach in there, I rub my finger around in there, get all the paper towel, get the paper towel all nice and lubed up basically, and take out all the old lube. Now inside of here there's a ledge right on the inside. If you ever own this gun, so what I recommend doing is if you do get this gun and say there's a big buildup of dirt and oil and debris and grease, old grease in there, what I actually did is I would take a toothpick, I'd wrap it pretty heavily in paper towel so it can't scratch the inside, reach in there and swab out around the edges. It worked out amazing. Before you come over here, go to the Dangerous Power G5 box and grab the biggest Allen wrench in there. So now what I recommend for the G5, like all Dangerous Power guns, is hater sauce. Why? Hater sauce works. It's like a Dow 55/33 mix is like what I like to call it. It's very messy. It's very, very messy. It's a pain. It's very messy. But it smells bad, has a bad color. It's nasty. It's nasty stuff. But it's enough for a spool valve gun because as you know, a spool valve gun is going to want something like sleek, something that's not very thick like a regulator. You're going to want something like sleek, that kind of stuff. But it has sleek, but it also has sort of like almost like a 55 base in a way to explain it, because it swells O-rings at the same time. It doesn't swell it like 55, but it still swells the O-rings a little bit. So with guns with tolerance issues and leaking issues, it really, really helps it out. So people with bolt stick issues, it swells the O-rings nice and fixes all the bolt stick issue. Now, since the O-rings are on the inside, you're basically going to have to reach your finger in there and grease those O-rings by yourself. And just put your finger in there and just rub your lube around in there real nice. You're just going to want to get the O-rings, not so much the body. I've definitely seen some different milling cuts and stuff in there that I did not see in my G4. So they did some new stuff internally. But I mean, it's pretty similar to my G4, except it doesn't leak nearly as much. I say that with pride, is that this gun, it does not leak nearly as bad. Obviously put some on the bolt bumper right up here. I'll put a little bit on the bolt itself, even though it doesn't really need it. I just put very, very thin amount just so if there's any untouched O-ring, it makes the bolt silver, or not, it's not silver, shiny, I should say. I mean, it makes it like a dingy shiny because it's hater sauce and it's green. You can also use monkey poo, would work great. But take this, slide her back in. Now I'll also show you how to change the board settings in 1 second. Show you how to program the board. It's pretty basic. These are these are awesome boards, let me tell you. These boards are amazing for changing settings too. Because I'll be honest, I did not remember. I used a G4, let me see, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. And I remembered the board. I remembered how basic it is. So how to do it, you want to hold down the trigger, turn on the gun. You're going to see it flash all those colors. I actually can't remember. I think red is BPS. I think green is what we want. 1, 2, 3. Yep. That would be ramping. So if you say you want it on semi, you click the button, you hit 1, you click it again. 1 time is semi. Just look up in the manual what you want. Like say, so 1 is semi. So here we go. I'll turn off the board again. Click it again. Turn off the eyes. As you can see, that's semi. Okay, now say you want to go back to ramping. Or you say you want to turn up your BPS. I am not going to turn it up, but that's red. That's the red setting. So you click the button, okay, and then you click it to whatever balls per second you want to go. So if you want to put it at 12 balls a second, I believe it's 12 trigger pulls, unless they switch the board around, which I don't think they did. And now, since I want to get it off of semi, I'm going to hit the button when it's on green. 1, 2, 3 is PSP. Click the button again. 1, 2, 3. So it tells me what mode I just clicked it into. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Eyes off. Wait, I think that's full auto. Okay, let me see. Guess I didn't remember as good as I thought. That's the DM is 3. Let me see if 2 is it. 1, 2. Let me turn it off again. So I guess 3 is full auto. That means 4 might be Millennium. Yep, that's PSP. So 2 on green is PSP. So if you want to put it in PSP, go to 2 times. Regulator. Get a big Allen wrench. Suggesting buying one of these. They don't come inside. You know what, I'm gonna have to do it this way. There we go. Or you can do what I did with the Dangerous Power E1. So what I did is I rigged it. That piss, oh man, that's so beautiful, it's blue. But what you're gonna wanna do, get some Hater Marmalade. Great for regs, it's nice and thick, or gun salve. But what I actually did, say you don't have the Allen key that fits that, I actually put one smaller Allen key in there, then I put another one in there, so I wedged it together. And you just have to find the 2 right Allen keys that you can basically wedge in there, and then you can torque it down. But I don't suggest that. Just buy the big Allen key. Like the biggest Allen key on here is I think a 1/16. No, 1/4. This is a 1/4, and this doesn't even fit it. This is what comes in the plain Eclipse, but it's too small. Take Hater Marmalade. Pretty basic maintenance here with the reg. So as you can see, this gun is very, very simple. That's why I like to say if new players really need a gun, can't really say, oh yeah, don't buy the Dangerous Power G4 or G5. I mean, they've fixed the problems from what I've seen. I mean, the problems seem fine to me. Slide it back in there. Take the piston. And that's all you're gonna have to do. You're not gonna wanna go into there. Oh, I almost forgot, there is an O-ring on the threads. Just put a little dab right there. So if you're ever leaking, first, change this front O-ring right here, if you're ever leaking. And if you're ever leaking down the barrel of your G5, that first O-ring, I guess I can pull it out and show you again. It's pretty easy to pull it apart. I actually forgot to say it, but since I've owned a G5 for so long, or G4 I should say, and then take whatever lube is left and put it on this front O-ring right here. Take it, put her back together. Yeah, so, but if you are experiencing down the barrel leakage, the first O-ring I'd say, what you're going to want to change is this O-ring right here. Tip O-ring right there. If you're leaking out of the back cap, this one back here. So there's not, if you're leaking down the barrel, it'll 9 times out of 10 always be this O-ring right here. That's what I've always found. It'll always be that O-ring. It was always that O-ring in my G4. If it's leaking out of the back cap, it'll always be the back O-ring. It's pretty simple. But in a rare case that it's not that O-ring, there's actually 2 back O-rings, like always. There's also one way back here, right back here, on the back of the threads. Where my finger's at. There's one here, and then there's one right here. But basically, long story short, it's not that hard to maintain. It's very basic. There's not 5,000 O-rings, so get it together, guys. And I mean, that's it. That did not take that long at all. So let's pull it out and let's do the conclusion. All right, so in conclusion of the Dangerous Power G5, I think overall it's a great shooting gun. It shoots just fine. It's going to do what you want to do. But quite honestly, is it there? Is it you know, is it up here with the competition, with the Mini GS or the Plain Eclipse ETHA and all that stuff? I would say not yet. I would definitely, and I know a lot of people definitely are going to ask that. That's one of the biggest questions. Dangerous Power G5 versus Mini. Or Mini GS. I would get this over the original Mini, but for the Mini GS, I would definitely buy this, or I would definitely buy the Mini GS before I bought this. Same with the Proto Rail Max. I would definitely buy the Rail Max before I bought this. I mean, Dangerous Power is still a recovering company. You know, if you're brand loyal to them, sort of like me, that's the biggest reason why we got a G5, because a lot of you guys wanted to see it and you wanted to know more about it. And I personally, I like Dangerous Power. I really don't have a problem with them. I know that they had problems, but I definitely see them working through that right now. So again, I think that, I mean, it's a good gun, but is it up there with the Rail Maxed and the Mini, or the Mini GS? I really don't think so. I don't think it's the better buy of the two of them. The Mini GS has a smoother shot, along with the Rail Max has a smoother shot than it. The other problem that I'm seeing with it is that it does chop brittle paint. I mean, it is a $300 gun, but it does break brittle paint pretty easily. I don't know what it is, but especially if you want to hang around and watch the efficiency test, go watch the efficiency test, because we shot the most brittle Vulcan paint. I forgot what it was. It was a Redemption or Crusade or something. I can't remember. It's some really good stuff, and it is the most brittle stuff there was out there. And it kind of struggled a little bit. I mean, a lot of it. I mean, we had paint dripping out of the porting at one point. Same with when I shoot Marbleizer, sort of on not so much of a hot day, but not so much on a cold day, just like a 60, 55 degree day. I mean, that's kind of cold for most guns, but here in Michigan, that's sort of normal during most of the season, 55 and 60. I mean, we only have 2 or 3 months where it's like in the 70s and 80s here. It's really not that hot. So, you know, 55, 60 degrees, it definitely kind of struggled along with Marbleizer too, as you guys saw in some of the games. It kind of surprised me. It really had a little bit of breaking paint issues, and I don't know if it was, I mean, it wasn't my hopper. I changed hoppers on it. Jacob used his rotor on it. I used the Z2 and the Spire on it and the R2 on it, and it still kind of had a little bit of paint chopping issues. It has a fresh battery in it. Believe me, I know how to, like I said, I didn't know enough about guns, but I mean, overall, it is a very simple gun. It is a very easy gun. I definitely see Dangerous Power taking it to the next step with this gun and their company. I can definitely see them trying to come back and trying to make things better for the paintball community. I can definitely see that. I don't think it's 100% there yet. But like I said, if you're brand loyal, you like Dangerous Power, or you've owned a Dangerous Power in the past, and you're maybe looking for a backup gun. Personally, I wouldn't buy it as a backup gun, especially for a tournament backup gun. But maybe if you're just looking for something cheap to throw in your gear bag for rec ball days, or maybe you're shooting an autococker and you just want to get into electro or something like that, then shoot, go for it. But like I said, is it better than the Rail Max? Is it better than the Mini GS? Personally, I do not think so. The Mini GS feels a little bit better. It's not as a fat grip frame, and this is small enough. Sort of like the Mini GS, I definitely like how you can stick your thumb through and wrap your... I definitely like this feel, but the Mini GS has that same feel, and it doesn't have the fat grip frame. It has a softer shot. Same thing with the Rail Max. It has a softer shot, a little bit better of a feel, even though it has a composite frame. It's just... I don't think it's quite there yet with the competition. I really don't see it there, but I can definitely see this gun improving, and I can see them making more changes. It has a ton. It doesn't have a ton of flaws anymore. They just need to fine-tune a few things, maybe slow down the bolt a little bit. It's a very fast gun. You can get these things up to very, very high rates of speed because they're very simple. Like, it's just a very small dump valve design. There's nothing to it. So I can definitely see them just tweaking just a few things, maybe slowing down the bolt a little bit, maybe making it a softer shot, and just worrying about, you know, taking it a little bit step further, making it more compatible and compete a little bit better with the Mini GS and the Rail Max and all those guns in that price range. Personally, that's what I have to say. Even though it does have great features, that's what I think about it. It's a great gun. If you're looking into buying one, I would say, you know, I mean, go for it, but personally, like I said, Mini GS, Rail Max, those are also coming from amazing companies already. They're not really recovering. Two biggest companies in paintball at the moment. So that's what I have to say about the G5. Stick around if you want to just see how it kind of broke paint at the efficiency test. Fast forward a little bit to the end. Now the giveaway, this is the giveaway segment, so we are giving this gun away on our YouTube channel. Give it about 2.5, 3 weeks, that kind of, you know, just sort of normal time. There's not really a release date. It just kind of happens when it happens. So that's just kind of how we've done it. So we'll give you guys a decent amount of time, 2-3 weeks, whatever it takes, so, something like that. And basically there's a few ways for you to enter. So with this, all you have to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. No matter what, you're automatically entered. If you subscribe, then you automatically have one entry, but the rest of them are not mandatory. If you want to get into it, you have to be a subscriber. After that, you don't really have to do anything else, but if you want to do extra entries, we have a Facebook page, Team Insanity Paintball. It's pretty simple. Type it in to the Facebook URL. If you don't have a Facebook, don't worry about it. It doesn't really matter. A lot of people say, hey, I don't have a Facebook. How can I enter the giveaway? You're already entered if you're subscribed. So you don't need a Facebook or anything like that. So follow us on Facebook, or like us on Facebook, or whatever you youngins say nowadays. Like us on Facebook. And then we will also have a picture up. And it's going to say share. If you share that picture on your Facebook wall, you'll get an extra entry. And you know, you don't have to share it again. I mean, I don't really share things, but again, it's an extra entry. So if you want an extra entry, go ahead, share that picture, and you will get another entry. And you don't have to, you know, post anything nice, but if you do, we do read it. And then we have another channel, our community channel. It's kind of hasn't gone downhill, but I've just sort of stopped uploading. And I've kind of stopped uploading on it for reasons, because we don't really have a ton of footage backed up. I mean, it's like I have some footage, but I don't have enough to upload, and I kind of want like a few. I just want to start getting back into uploading on the community channel. If you subscribe to the community channel, you'll get another submission. But if you start sending us, we need people to start sending us footage for the community channel again. If you send us footage at contact.teaminsanitypb@gmail.com, and if you send it over Google Drive, you have to say that you give us permission to upload it, then you will also get another entry. So you have all those extra entries. And how we do it is we just pick a random code generator. If you send a video to the community channel, you'll automatically get entered no matter what. I mean, that's just how it is. We don't get like 5,000 entries. You know, normally it's like 4 or 5. you 4 or 5 people that always send us stuff, you'll get thrown in. But we'd pick a random code generator and go through our likes, you know, 1 through however many likes that we have, and we'll click it like 10 times and pick those number 10 or 20 times. Same thing with YouTube, we'll pull up our subscribers, hit random code generator, and we'll pick all these random people out of the bunch. We'll throw it in there. And same thing with the community channel. And if you also make an account on the forum, you also get another entry. So there's just all these extra entries for you to do. And same thing with on the forum. If you link is in the description someplace in there. And if you go ahead and then make an account on the forum, you also get another entry. So there's just a ton of entries. And how we do it is we can take all those entries from the forum and all that. We throw it into a big jar. We mix it all up. And then we pull out first, second, and third place. We're going to go back to first, second, third place just for this giveaway because some people complained. And then if you're first place and you claim it, woohoo, you get it. You get 24 to 48 hours. If 24 to 48 hours doesn't claim it, second place gets the chance to claim it. Same thing, 24 to 48 hours, they don't claim it, third place gets it. So that's just sort of how it goes. So good luck to all of you guys. If you want, like I said, to watch the efficiency test, go ahead and watch it. Thank you for the 20K subs, giving back to the community. Good luck. All right, Dangerous Power G5 are filled up at 4K, or right under 4K, just a little bit under. It's Memorial Day, so I have to wear the Spirit. I'm gonna load up the first pod. You might want to go that way. 278, 267, 285, 271, 278, 277, one more, 278.
Can't really see the chrono.
What?
Can't really see the chrono at all.
That's fine. Just trust me. Just trust that that's my word. You heard it beat, so here we go. Yeah, get that pod back. So as you can hear, it's out.
Oh wait.
All right. With the G5, we got 1, as you can see that's empty, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Didn't really, maybe like, that pod wasn't really, it was right at 200, so that's kind of So about, 8-ish pods out of this bad boy on a 4K fill. And as you can see, we were shooting some really, really brittle paint. And if you've watched some of the videos, then you've definitely seen that it does struggle with some brittle paint.